Hello. A couple tips for improving your sketches. Number one, have a reason for practice. Set a goal. Oftentimes what happens is when people practice, they don't really have a goal in mind. They don't really have an end result in which they want to achieve. Your final result, whether it is that you're sketching or just doodling for fun or designing a new character, you need to have some form of goal that you're working towards. This goal needs to be clear inside of your head. You need to know that, when I get it to look super clean and nice, like this, that we're going to stop here. You need a set ending point. Otherwise, you never really know whether or not you're done or whether or not it's even good enough. A lot of the times people say that I'll know it's good enough when I know it's good enough. But typically speaking, that's not actually enough. What we really need is a clear goal that we can mark down and say, this is when I'm actually done. This is the limit of my ability, or this is the limit of what I want to achieve for today. Otherwise, most people just end up ripping into themselves, criticizing themselves, thinking that it'll help them improve, but not really knowing what the goal is. If you continue to say that this line isn't perfect, but you don't even know what perfect looks like, then you're just going to end up going around in circles and end up damaging yourself more than you actually are gaining anything from practice. Tip number 2. Too fast? Too slow? Look for just right instead. A lot of the times when people sketch, most of the time the problem here is that their lines don't really look that great. Either your lines are very, very shaky or they're just not really on point. There exists a perfect speed in which your pen should be moving along the canvas any single time that you want to be drawing a line. This line here represents the perfect speed in which you have good control and no shakiness. Typically speaking, a lot of people don't realize that the slower you draw, the shakier your drawing actually becomes. And the faster that you draw, the straighter the line becomes, but the less control we have over where it kind of starts and ends. So you want to find the place where the speed is just right. Then remember that speed and continue to sketch perfectly in that speed. It's a tough thing to know for sure because it's based on a feeling. But the moment you find that particular speed, you'll never be able to let go of it again. And the last tip for today is probably one of the biggest tips I had for myself. When I was first starting, I heard so much information. There was so many voices speaking to me all the time about this is the right way to do it. This is the right way to do it. In reality, at the end of your journey, you'll look back and realize that some ways are better than others, but typically speaking, it doesn't really matter. What matters the most is whatever keeps you drawing. If the unoptimal way, if practicing what you want to actually draw keeps you happy, then you should just do that. Because ultimately, in the end, drawing what you actually want is going to keep you actually drawing. And it's better than just saying drawing a million rocks and then realizing and then starting to think to yourself that maybe art isn't for you. Instead of that, if you want to draw cars, draw cars. If you want to draw anime girls, draw anime girls. Whatever it is that makes you happiest is going to be the main reason why you draw. And then eventually, you're going to be able to give back into the art community as well with your own specialty. The idea is you're always ready to draw what you want. You don't need to practice squares and boxes and circles until your hand falls off. You're fine. Just keep it going and enjoy your art. Draw what you want to draw.